This is a Rough Tiger production.
And you, and you, and you, and you were there. Some of it wasn't very nice, but most of it was beautiful.
What's up, dude?
Not a lot. I found out last night I've got Hashimoto's disease.
Which I've heard of, but
Yeah.
what is that?
It's related to the thyroid. My ongoing battle with my thyroid. I don't know quite what it means, but apparently it's a good idea if I go gluten-free. So there's a little glimpse into my life. So
Are you suddenly multilingual, or is there any upside to
it? Yes.
I have Hashimoto's. Suddenly I'm fluent in Mandarin. I don't know why. That'd be kind of cool.
Yes. Unfortunately, it's a dead language that no one else speaks, but
welcome to Dreameth Idiot. Welcome back, folks, to Dream Idiots. That guy over there is named Morris. I'm Bryan. Each week we tell stories from history, from the news, from our lives, from just random topics that we come across in our various readings and internet doom scrolling, and we pass it along to you for your hopefully your entertainment, or your something. I don't know what, but thanks for joining us.
Yes, in the ongoing chronicle of us getting older and older. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for checking out dreamidiots.com, where you can check out some of our merch. And thanks for the feedback too, for the emails we get, for the ratings, for the reviews. We do appreciate all that. We picked up a new listener in Colorado this week, where I am based. And we've picked up some new listeners, I think, down in Texas recently. Bryan, is that what you said? Where you are based?
Yep.
And that's great to hear. So keep it coming and pass it along. We're on a lot of different listening platforms, so on different podcatchers. So pass those along to folks who may not be on your podcatcher. Pass it along, please, please, please.
Yes, and we're on Facebook and Instagram as well, and we're kind of doing our growth is kind of old school, one person at a time. So we're stopping people in Home Depot and saying, will you listen to our podcast? But anyway, yeah, thanks for doing that stuff for us and for tagging along. We appreciate it.
And then we hand them one half of a tin can with a string in it, and here you go.
Mm-hmm.
This is an odd numbered episode, Bryan, which means you get to go first and entertain us. So
all right, here we go. So I know in the past we've talked about various sports and athletic endeavors. I know that you played a lot of basketball. I don't recall you necessarily getting into any sort of self-defense classes or diving into any of those things at all. Did you?
Well, I played golf. Does that count?
Self-defense, yeah. For some folks, yeah, I'm sure it certainly does. So this week we're going to talk about Edith Garrud. She was born in 1872, and this will relate to self-defense here shortly. She was born in Bath, Somerset, in England. She was a tiny person, a tiny, whiny woman. She's only 150 centimeters tall, 4'11". And you would think that at that height, she would be no match for officers of the London Metropolitan Police at the time, whose average height, I'm sure, was probably close to the average height for today, whatever, 5'10", 6 feet tall. But Edith had a secret weapon. Prior to World War I, Edith became an instructor in jiu-jitsu, and she she was an instructor in jiu-jitsu for the Women's Social and Political Union, the WSPU, better known as the Suffragettes, and took part in a very active role in the campaign for gaining voting rights for women. So she's born in 1872. This is very, very early part of the 20th century, but in London, this time is still pretty Dickensian in a lot of ways. UK police rather famously don't carry guns. I don't think carry guns to this day. Women at the time wore long dresses, conservatively dressed, large hats. End of the 19th century, it must have been considered uncouth for officers to touch anyone. And there must have been this strict notion of what was proper and improper when you're, dealing with a ruffian or when you have to arrest a young lady. Confrontations with police must have been a little bit comical because you'd find someone doing something wrong and say, okay, Ian, you're caught, get in the van. I mean, I don't think there was, in that long ago, I suspect police brutality was much less common than it is now, and violence toward women, especially, I would presume, would have been largely avoided because violence, unlike today, wasn't really the goal. But women at the time, they were sick of the lack of progress. They resorted to continuing acts of civil disobedience and marches and some illegal activities that didn't involve assault and arson. In the struggle in the years before World War I, things got harder and harder, and the battle became more bitter. Women were arrested quite commonly. Very often when they would go on hunger strikes and were occasionally force-fed using rubber tubes. Yeah. While out on marches, many complained about being manhandled, knocked to the ground. And then things got even worse. On the 18th of November, 1910, you have a group of about 300 suffragettes who are met by a wall of policemen outside Parliament. They were heavily outnumbered. Women were assaulted by both police and a number of male vigilantes, basically just in the crowd. There were a large number of women who sustained many serious injuries. 2 of the women in the group actually died as a result. More than 100 suffragettes were arrested. There's a woman named Elizabeth Crawford who wrote a book called The Women's Suffrage Movement, a reference guide. She says, quote, "A lot said they had been groped by the police and male bystanders. After that, women didn't go to these demonstrations unprepared," unquote. Some started putting cardboard over their ribs for protection, under their clothing, but you just have a little bit of a barrier to stave off some blows. Edith is now teaching, WSP, or the suffragette movements, how to fight back, and her method is jujitsu, and she advocates for it because I know nothing about the style of fighting or defense one bit, but it apparently emphasizes using the attacker's size and their force against them, channels their momentum and targets pressure points, and does so pretty effectively. So the first connection between suffragettes and jiu-jitsu was made at one of these WSPU meetings. Edith and her husband, William, actually ran a martial arts school in London in the Golden Square area. They had been booked to attend. William winds up not going because he's ill, and Edith shows up just by herself. Prior to this, Edith would do the demonstrating, to actually do the showing the different techniques, and William would do the narrating. Tony Wolfe is a writer who later wrote a trilogy of graphic novels called Suffrajitsu. That came out in 2015. And he says, quote, "But the story goes that the WSPU's leader, Emmeline Pankhurst, encouraged Edith to do the talking and demonstrations herself, which she did." So these classes, this instruction with the suffragettes continues. Wolf goes on, quote, "At that time, it was more about defending themselves against angry hecklers in the audience who got on stage rather than police. But there had been several attempted assaults," unquote. So by 1910, she is running regular classes now for suffragettes, and she's writing for the suffragette newspaper, the publication called Votes for Women. Her article stresses the suitability for this style of defense because it's very effective when you're dealing with someone who's bigger, taller, stronger than you, with a higher center of gravity. The press starts to pay attention to this. Health and Strength magazine prints the satire piece called "Jiu-Jitsu Fragettes." Jiu-Jitsu Fragettes. Later on, because that's hard to say, they switched that, and that's when they started calling it Suffrajitsu instead. Punch magazine shows a cartoon of Edith standing alone against several policemen entitled "The Suffragette Who Knew Jiu-Jitsu." And they're kind of being mocked a little bit for their willingness or their desire to stand up and fight for their rights. There's a guy named Martin Dixon, who is chairman of the British Jiu-Jitsu Association, says, quote, "They wouldn't have expected in these days a woman could respond physically to that kind of action, let alone put up any effective resistance. It was an ideal way for them to handle being grabbed while in a crowd situation." So the Pankhursts, Emmeline, the mother, and Sylvia, her daughter, agree and are definitely encouraging all suffragettes that they meet to learn at least some nominal martial arts. And the Pankhursts, the daughter claims in at least one talk that the police know jiu-jitsu, which that seems incredibly unlikely to me, but I don't know if that's true or not. But according to her, the police know it, so we need to know it as well. She references that in a speech in 1913. The years go on, confrontations between police and suffragettes happen more and more often. They're becoming more intense and more violent. There's a law that's passed called the Cat and Mouse Act in 1913 that allows hunger striking prisoners to be released, and they're sent home so they can eat and heal up. But the agreement is that they then get to be reincarcerated the moment they've recovered their health. The suffragettes take advantage of this, and they feel that Emmeline Pankhurst is such a vital component as a figurehead and as a motivator, as a speaker for the group, that they can't let her get recaptured because she's arrested several times, goes on hunger strike, is released, and so they then decide, come hell or high water, we're making sure that she's not caught again. So Edith then forms a group called the Bodyguard. It consisted of 30 women who undertook a whole host of dangerous duties to secure Pankhurst's maintain her safety. Basically, they would pick up people in crowds. They could pick out and follow a particular car if necessary. If they knew someone who was aggressive to their aims was going to be in attendance. This bodyguard group was nicknamed the Amazons by the press because the press were choosing to be, obviously unkind about it. But they also armed themselves. These women had clubs hidden under their clothes somewhere. So the clubs came in handy because early 1914, the group travels to Glasgow for an event that would later be dubbed the Battle of Glasgow. The bodyguard traveled overnight from London by train. Their clubs are on their persons, but hidden. And so just the fact that they are armed, this trip is apparently a little bit, they're uneasy making this journey. There's a crowd waiting to see Emmeline Pankhurst speak at St. Andrew's Hall. But when they arrive, the police have already surrounded the building, hoping to catch Pankhurst. But she's clever. She manages to evade capture at least initially by pretending to be a spectator. She walks up, she buys a ticket, and she goes into the venue and just sits in the crowd. The bodyguard, the group of 30 get in position, basically sitting in a semicircle of chairs behind the podium, and there's a dense row of flowers and bouquets along the front of the stage. Suddenly, Pankhurst, comes up from the crowd and gets behind the podium and starts speaking. And she manages to speak for about 30 seconds when police storm the stage. They are caught initially because all the flowers across the front of the stage are laced with, there's a whole string of barbed wire and all these flowers.
Holy shit.
So they're caught on that first, a la, Greg Abbott, maybe that was his inspiration for nonsense at the border. So you have 30 suffragettes and 50 police basically in an all-out brawl on the stage at this venue in front of 4,000 people who are just sitting there watching this. And this goes on for several minutes, apparently. Eventually, just numbers, the women are overwhelmed. And Pankhurst is once again arrested. So one of the other things that Edith teaches this group, besides self-defense, is a number of other little misdirections and tricks in order to ensure Pankhurst's safety. 1914, Pankhurst is scheduled to give a speech from a balcony in Camden square. She enters a side door from this at this building, goes up to the balcony, does the speech, comes back down, comes out the same doorway, and she's surrounded by the bodyguard, and she has a large hat, and she has a veil covering her face, and she's being escorted, and the police swoop in. Again, there's another fight. A number of women are knocked to the ground, and at first glance it appears as though Pankhurst has been knocked unconscious, but they grab her, they throw her into some vehicle, pull away. They rip past, rip away the veil, and realize it's a decoy. I'm not quite sure what they mean by decoy here. I'm hoping that means it was a dummy, but it may mean that there was just another woman who was there, who was the one who was knocked unconscious. I couldn't figure out the answer to that question, but the real Pankhurst had been smuggled out in all the insanity. Something else happened along these same lines, where again, these women are all wearing, large dresses, heavy, large petticoats, large hats, and on at least one occasion, they encouraged everyone to come to wear the biggest hat they had, and Emmeline was smuggled out in a sea of hats, and officers couldn't figure out which one she was, because they're all wearing these sombrero-sized hats.
It was called the pick a little, talk a little maneuver from the Music Man. That's how they
yeah, exactly.
They got her out.
So a little bit more about jiu-jitsu and the history. I mean, the reason she was inspired by this style of self-defense is she started going to classes when she was much younger, 1899. She and her husband both were heavily involved. Edith was actually one of the first female martial art instructors in the entire Western Hemisphere. I'm sorry, in the West, in West Europe. Prior to all this insanity, when she would do exhibitions, she would wear a red gown. Again, even in these exhibitions, women don't wear spandex or shorts and t-shirt. She's wearing a full-length dress through all of this. In these exhibitions, she wears a red gown and would invite people from the crowd to come up and try to attack her. Wolf goes on, quote, as far as the suffragettes were concerned, she was very much in the right place at the right time. Jiu-jitsu had become something of a societal trend, with women hosting jiu-jitsu parties where they and their friends underwent instruction. So this thing, is basically kind of halted by the outbreak of World War I. And so the suffragette movement is kind of set aside, and they sort of concentrate instead on the war effort. In 1918, after the war, the Representation of People Act is finally passed, and suddenly more than 8 million women in the UK have the right to vote. The way they cut the baby in half, the way they compromised on this one is that you had to be age 30 to vote if you're a woman, but then 10 years later they lowered it to age 21, which is what was the age that men could vote. So a bit more about Edith. There's a 2015 film called Suffragette, starring Helena Bonham Carter. And Edith is not mentioned by name, but the main character in that film, as the script was written, the main character was named Caroline, and Bonham Carter asked to change the main character's name to Edith, basically in Garrud's, as tribute. Bonham Carter said that she was an amazing woman whose fighting method was not about brute force, it was about skill, and it's this skill that helps suffragettes take on powerful opponents. Many years later, Edith lives well into her 90s. She does an interview in 1965 with a BBC, I believe a BBC reporter talks to her about her life experiences at the time, and as part of that, she says she's quoted as saying that a officer tried to stop her outside Parliament and said, "Now then, move along now. You can't be causing an obstruction here." Her response to him was, "Excuse me, it's you who's making the obstruction." And she replied, and then proceeded to toss him over her shoulder. A shoulder toss is a very common jiu-jitsu maneuver where someone much bigger with a higher center of gravity is thrown to the side. The interviewer
and
also
then she called him a masher.
The interview also asked if she still had any skills left in her 90s, and she apparently quickly placed him in what's called a joint lock, I presume at the wrist, because in her 90s, I presume she was sitting down at the time. But a joint lock is when you basically flex a joint nearly to the point of hyperextension. So he asked her this, and she reached over and I presume grabs his hand and wrenches it backwards, and he's like, "Oh God, stop! No, yeah, got it. Yeah, okay, good, got it." So anyway, Edith Garrud and Suffrajitsu. A random story from his.
How does that feel, Sonny?
Don't make me angry.
Well, it's a great example from history of how David beats Goliath, right? You have to turn your weakness into a strength. What a great story. Edith Garrud.
Garrud and Suffrajitsu.
Wow.
And the I did not see the third week in a row we're talking about graphic novels. This is apparently just a three issue series on Suffrajitsu from 7 or 8 years ago. But yeah, kind of a cool little story. And I love the Buster Keaton style misdirection with the veil.
Oh no, that's great. I was thinking, you know who could have used
Scooby-Doo.
You know who could have used these ladies was Jenny Garp from The World According to Garp when she was doing her suffragette.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That's a great story, Brian. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I'm gonna check that movie out too.
Yeah, pretty cool.
It's time for the Dream Idiot's curse word of the week.
All right.
And how are we going for a curse word of the week this week?
Quick curse word for you. This is the only example I've ever found that might be as close to the English equivalent of Schadenfreude. The word is merry go sorry. Merry-go-sorry. Not merry go round. Merry go sorry. How are you doing today? Well, I'm merry go sorry. It's a mixture of joy and sorrow that apparently was, I mean, probably not in common usage, but according to Atlas Obscura, it is on a list of words that is, quote, no longer used. They didn't explain when it was in usage. I imagine England 100 years ago. But if you're having mixed feelings about something, you're feeling merry go sorry. I kind of like that.
I have never heard that term before. Merry go sorry.
Huh?
That's great.
Yeah.
And appropriate for my story today, actually. Merry go sorry.
Yeah, excellent.
That's good. You're going to be merry go sorry because you know why, Brian?
Oh no.
Do you want to know why?
Your story has to do with something I hate.
It does. It has to do something you hate a lot. This is the college quiz 5th edition, Brian, because we're in the middle of the first month of the school year, pretty much September.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to go over the rules because you should know them by now. If you've never heard the college quiz game, we've got at least 4 other episodes on it. Basically, this is a college rhyming game where I make Brian complete a phrase using a little rhyming couplet there, and he has to I think it's called a couplet anyway. He has to get 7 of these right. If he gets to 6 and he's gotten 6 right out of 10, I will give him a lifeline in the form of an 11th question there to try to get it right. If he loses, he has to play this ridiculous game again. If he wins, he gets the honor of playing this ridiculous game again.
I've lost every time. And last time was an absolute spanking. I think I got 3, I think 3 right last time.
I don't know. It was sad and sorry.
Yeah.
You get 3 in the easy. You get 3 in the easy level, 4 in the medium level, and 3 in the hard level. You ready, Brian?
Yeah. Let me just open up Google in the background here.
Yeah. Is this to look up the different colleges if you need to?
I'm going to try to. I'm going to have some. There'll be some pauses here, right? I'll be right back.
Okay.
And,
well,
okay.
This should be pretty easy.
I'm not going to cheat.
This should be pretty easy for you.
Mm-hmm.
You ready for round 1?
I'm ready. Mm-hmm.
As a student at Colorado State University in Fort Collins, you like to make your own fruit spread. You eat blank blank on your toast in the morning. Colorado State University in Fort Collins. where you make your own fruit spreads. So you eat blank blank on your toast in the morning.
Oh my God.
Oh, Bryan, come on. This is one of the easy ones.
I know. I'm already killing myself.
What's another word for fruit spread? Let's start with that.
It's the fruit wrap. The shit.
No, what's a simple word for fruit spread that you might put on your biscuits or your croissant
Jelly.
in the morning? Or
Jam.
go on. Okay, good.
Sounds like shit. Not shit. Not shit.
No, jam is a good place to stop. Jam's good.
Cons. I can't for the life of me think what the
Well, you know what it has to rhyme with?
Ram Jam.
Ram Jam.
They're the Rams.
Yeah, Colorado State Rams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was more painful than it needed to be.
It was, and I worry for you for the rest of these.
Yeah.
For number 2 of the
too.
easy level, Bryan, you like to do everything 2 times, for luck. At your private university in Houston, Texas, you do everything blank at blank.
Oh, twice at Rice.
Yes, that's how the first one should have gone. Number 3, you have a bad case of laryngitis while studying at Montana Tech, rendering you blank in blank.
Say it again.
You have a bad case of laryngitis while studying at Montana Tech, rendering you blank in blank. Laryngitis at Montana Tech, rendering you blank in blank.
Horse in.
Nope.
No.
Mm-mm. That's one thing that laryngitis can render you.
Mute and butte.
Mute and butte. 3 for 3, Bryan.
Hey Siri, where is? I'm sorry.
Let's proceed to the medium level, shall we?
Okay.
Bryan, number 4. You've won the chance to go surfing with the mascot for the University of Delaware. You'll blank blank with a blank blank.
Read again.
You've won the chance to go surfing with the mascot for the University of Delaware. You'll blank blank with a blank blank.
Hang 10.
Mm-hmm.
With a pelican. No.
No.
University. Shit. What is the mascot of the University of They're the fighting tarpon. They're the fighting something. No.
Actually, they are the fighting somethings. Mm-hmm. The fighting blank blanks. Yep. You're right.
Are they really? No.
Yes.
I was being totally sarcastic. Hang 10.
Hang
the wingman.
10
no. Hang 10. Wait. Penguin? Think.
No.
10.
Hang 10 with an ink pen. Fountain pen.
They're the fighting penguin. I don't know.
You get to hang 10 with a blue hen. The fighting blue hens of Delaware.
Hen, yeah. Okay. I wasn't gonna get that.
Simon is screaming right now at you. He went to Delaware for graduate school.
Oh, okay.
Number 5, and you are 3 for 4, which isn't bad. You love, Bryan, you just love eating your gelatin desserts at Idaho State University. You slurp down blank in blank. Your gelatin desserts at Idaho State University. You slurp down blank in blank.
Jello and yellow. No.
Well, you got the first part right.
Is there a town in Siri? What rhymes with Jello? It actually went off. Sorry. Hold on 1 second. My phone's ringing now. Sorry. Brief pause. Jello. Yellow, fellow, mellow.
This is going to be so funny.
Yeah, no idea.
You love slurping down Jello and Pocatello.
Oh, no shot. I was going to get that. I'm laughing that when I was stupidly calling, talking at my phone, it started to call someone with the last name Jacala. So Siri was trying.
Number 6, Bryan, you should get this one. It's right up your alley, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Bryan, you study feces at Yale, and you know all about it.
Uh-huh.
You're the blank blank in blank blank. You study feces at Yale, and you know all about it. You're the blank blank in blank blank. Everyone turns to you when it comes to questions about feces here at Yale. You're the blank blank in blank blank.
Yale's in.
It's in a place with 2 words in the name.
No.
Can't believe you're not getting this one.
Where is Yale? I just forget where.
I ran this by you as a rough draft one time, and you nearly wrecked the car when I told you about it. Can you get to the state? The state might help you. What state is Yale in?
Connecticut.
Yep. The blank blank in blank blank.
Oh fuck. Yeah, I know I know this. It's right there. Can you see it? Right there. Crap. No. Yeah, I don't know.
Bryan, you study feces at Yale and you know all about it. You're the poo maven in New Haven.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Bryan, you're really sucking wind here, buddy. Bryan,
first right.
Number 7. Sometimes you smoke a little reefer in your mode of transportation while studying at Gonzaga. You like to toke up in your blank in blank. Gonzaga.
I have no idea where I know what state Gonzaga's in. Okay, say it again.
You like to, sometimes you smoke a little reefer in your mode of transportation while studying at Gonzaga. You like to toke up in your blank in blank. What do you toke up in? What kind of mode of transportation is the best thing to toke up in?
But mode of transport, a car?
No.
A
Not
van?
for real. There you go. You toke up in your
a van in Spokane?
A van in Spokane.
Special thanks. I get half of that one, maybe.
Thanks to my wife's friend Claire for that one, because she's a Gonzaga Bulldog. All right, Bryan, let's move on to the hard level. You could still win this without the lifeline. You're 4-3. I'm tempted to give you a point just because you got hang 10 right and Jello right, but I'm not that nice. So number 8, you have a part-time job while studying at the University of Nevada, the one in Reno. You install toilets, fix leaks, and so forth. Sometimes you show your blank, 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 blank. Part-time job while studying at the University of Nevada in Reno. You install toilets, fix leaks, and so forth. Sometimes you show your blank, 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 blank.
Your blackjack ass crack?
Close. Specifically, what kind of crack are you showing if you're installing toilets, fixing leaks, and so forth?
Butt crack.
No, specifically. What are you if you're installing toilets, fixing leaks, and so forth?
Your plumber.
Okay, there you go. Your plumber crack. You never heard that term? For someone? Okay, so plumber crack. So now what you got to do is get the mascot name right.
Oh,
blank,
lumberjack.
blank, plumber crack. No,
No?
not for the University of Nevada in Reno.
No idea.
Your wolf pack plumber
Wolf
crack,
pack.
Brian.
Yeah, okay.
Brian, number 9. You've got kids at UC Santa Cruz. UC Santa Cruz, who are having trouble sleeping because their dorms are so noisy. You need to give some blank blanks to your blank blanks. UC Santa Cruz, your kids, they're having trouble sleeping because their dorms are so noisy. So you've got to give some blank blanks to your blank blanks.
Some melatonins to my
No.
fellows moaning. No, no, zero clue.
Oh, come on. What do you do to cut down on the noise?
Oh, earplugs.
There you go. Okay,
Earplugs to your
perhaps the weirdest mascot in all of the collegiate world.
yeah, no clue.
The UC Santa Cruz
butt plugs.
No, we've already established
No,
it's the earplugs.
No, I don't know. No clue.
You've got to give earplugs to your banana slugs.
Wow, I've never even heard that before. No idea.
Ryan, you failed miserably, but I'm going to double up and I'll offer you 2 points for this next one if you can get this one.
Okay.
Number 10, and the 2 points would give you the 6
2 points.
required. The 6 required for the lifeline. Number 10, the mascot at your public university in College Park, Maryland, has put on a bit of weight, and you notice, especially in the face. It's a blank hyphen blank blank. The mascot at your public university in College Park, Maryland, has put on a bit of weight, and you notice it, especially in the face. It's a blank blank. That's a hyphen. Blank hyphen blank blank.
Double chin terrapin.
Oh, dude! Brian, you could do this. Holy shit! Your lifeline question. I think you're going to get this, buddy.
The jaws of the victory from the jaws of whatever.
You've opened a restaurant only for University of Texas El Paso alumni.
Oh, I
It's
should know
called
this.
It's called the blank blank.
Read again. I'm sorry.
You've opened a restaurant only for University of Texas El Paso alumni. It's called the blank blank. Restaurant for only for University of Texas El Paso alumni.
My mother went to UTEP.
I am aware.
What is the UTEP mascot? I don't know. I'm not gonna.
Bryan.
I'm not gonna come up with it.
What's another word for a restaurant? Oh, this is gonna suck.
Diner. Diner. So it's Boilermaker. No. They're not like 49ers, 69ers, 89ers. I mean, I know there are some colleges that have a number like 49ers. That's not minors. Ex minor diner.
There you go. Holy shit, Bryan, you won. You have
minors,
won
really?
the minor diner. You have won. You have finally won the college. You have won more college quizzes for this show than the Bills and the Vikings have won Super Bowls combined, Bryan. And that makes me feel merry go sorry, because I'm happy for you, but I'm sad for me that you finally won this bastard of a quiz. So congratulations.
It's a folks pass or whatever it is, right? Yeah.
It's a merry go sorry day here on Dream Idiots. Bryan has finally won a college quiz, and your treat is, Mr. Treat, you get to play this game again at some point in the future on Dream Idiots. I will give you respite, and I won't do it again for a long, long time.
Okay, thank you.
So,
yes,
you're welcome.
I'm stunned. I'm stunned. I actually won one of those.
I am stunned as well, particularly when you blew Hang 10 with a blue hen. I thought for sure you were going to get that.
That's pretty obscure. Okay, I'm glad I did my mother proud with the minor diner.
I am too. You just that was, and the fact that you got double chin terrapin, I thought that one was gonna. That was impressive, Bryan. That was impressive. All right, folks. I feel like we've accomplished something here today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More silliness, more stupidity. We hope you like our brand of ridiculousness, and we appreciate everything that you're doing for us. If you like this stuff, please go on whichever platform you're listening to us on and shoot us 5 stars, shoot us a review. That'd be great. You can drop us a line at dreamidiots.podcast@gmail. Check us out at dreamidiots.com, at dreamidiots on Instagram, at dreamidiots on Facebook. We appreciate listening and sharing and doing all those things for us.
And apologies to all the schools involved for the college quiz. Remember, no offense meant. It's just the rhyme scheme of the game. And be good to each other. Thanks.
This is a Rough Tiger production.
Bong bong, Bryan.
Bong bong?
Bong bong.
Bong bong. Good.